Times now with Back to the Rhymes. It's like, wow, he's back to the rhymes. I'm in the booth straight dropping dimes. Clark Kent daily plant the metropolis times. I write these raps while I'm under the gun. I see you back to get you some. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. Pure, raw, uncut, rap. Back to the rhymes. Now's the time. Time to whine, cause back to the rhymes. Back to the rhymes. Now's the time. Time to whine, cause it is back to the rhymes. One moment. I gotta fix something here. Be right back. Sorry about that. All right, so I am back to the rhymes at this early hour of the next day, but it still counts for the day of. All right. Do I have a list? I do. I guess since I'm thinking about it, let me start with this. We got Good Ear Productions. All right. So, My Reformation music videos, number one. Man, my list, I don't know where my main list ever went. Our pastor's retiring at my home base church after at least 20 plus years. So I think I forgot to ask my wife if she saw the person of interest, but I believe if there were ever a time that she'd come out, I could talk to her, would be this coming week. So let's stay tuned on that. That would be big time if we can get that. And then I'll have a plan for you all after that conversation. That's the plan. I'm going to that. So I talked to my wife about it already. I will be there. Gosh, that's not what I want, but I think I got a better one that's less distracting. Sorry. So, so I will expect, like I said, if she doesn't come out to that, then I'll probably check and see how she's doing, because I can't imagine she would miss it. All right. But we are looking for a new pastor, so we're praying for that, and we'll see what happens. I'm just thankful that church is getting closer to the good old days. I went to church today with good friends, and it was the good old days in the sense of virtually everyone was showing their smile. At my home church, people are a little more fearful overall. So don't see as many smiles. Rules of engagement. Nothing to say about that. Trump's going to thump. Nothing to say about that. I did share that with somebody, friend, but I'm not sure they checked it out. But no updates there. The YouTube channel. This week I'll meet with Leon. We're going to create part 2. And that should be a good thing. I'm just thankful for those of you who check this out. I've got a small little group there, but it really means a lot to me. I want to say thank you because, of course, I'm committed myself to doing this regardless, but it's nice to not just, that someone else would be checking into it. It means a lot. So thank you for that. So we're gonna put that. We're gonna stream that on Thursday, and I guess I could talk about this. So we're also gonna meet with our friend Vernon. He's going into counseling, so I can go into Bellevue Ballers, and there's a lot there. Counseling, being a counselor, is a great thing. Something I would do if there was a path forward for that. I looked into it. There's just no legitimate path for me to do that. But I was happy to hear my friend Vernon doing that. He's getting close to graduating. I guess he's going to work with drug addicts. think for me, it just depends what people's what's on their heart and the population area of interest that they want to work on. So I do want to talk to them about how I got interested in that area. But I do believe somebody like that, anybody like that who has a heart for people is a good help for what I'm doing with Bellevue Ballers, because that's the nature of what we do. And it's good that I was talking to a counselor and she mentioned the term soft skills, and I forgot about that. Soft skills versus hard skills. Anyway, these are they're harder to just put on, or you can't put them on a resume apparently, because it talks about time management, adaptability as being soft skills, but they're not something you would exactly you wouldn't be formally trained for. So that's a big part of that. It's so much that goes into this Bellevue Ballers, and I bring it up simply because, well, one, it's hard for me to move forward with it because my schedule is going to go backwards in terms of my time. But there is an end. My daughter's getting older. I'm helping her get prepared to be an entrepreneur. And the other thing is, we talk about designing a life. You can design a life in such a way. We talk about a business building job and a non-business. I don't have a good business building job. A good business building job, or being able to do something outside of your job, would have very stable hours, very predictable, and not wipe you out. And there's a lot of jobs that don't allow for that. So that's why, but I don't have a choice right now. I've looked around countless years, countless times. I don't see a path forward in that way. Going back to the YouTube channel, I texted back and forth with Alex. I think he's in that situation over at the post office. I got my friend John over there too with Wallingford. It's all consuming. And John told me this week, because I mentioned to him about doing the 4th of July event together, and he said we should get together before that. But as a general rule, he says he's got enough energy to work, eat. He breeds snakes and stuff. Just do the minimums outside of work. He can do the absolute. So anyway, that's what I'm passing on to my daughters, and is positioning herself to not be in that situation. And these guys are kind of choosing it. Both of them are single. Both of them are single. They must like the job, or they're not looking to do something outside of it, at least at this point. At this job, you have the choice to change stations too if they ever wanted to do that. Not John yet. He's too new, but so you don't have to leave the job. You just have to bide your time there. In my case, like I said, we'll go on the overtime list beginning of April. At least the routes aren't as tough. So we're going to just see. I'm working with my wife and just to see how we can work in a little business building. I was at the seminar today, I guess, rally, the testimony, and one fellow said he had a nanny job, but he was able to work his business while being a nanny. That's right. Excellent. That's a businessman right there. As long as you're doing your job and getting paid, why can't you do two for, I have one route I can probably pretty much do that on, 1 out of 5. But that's still a work in progress. I couldn't pull that off this last time I did it, but there have been times I had enough downtime I could work on my side hustle, and everyone's happy, and that's what we need. We need people to be getting their job done, but designing a life, and that's where I want to be working on more. And as I said, that's going to the next generation. So I'm not, no way am I mad at God or something like that. I never think in those terms. I feel like, I've been equipped to a certain degree. I've learned to the best of my ability over the years, and I'm going to pass on. I thank God I have that opportunity to my daughter to pick up where I'm leaving off. It's not over, but I'm just saying a lot of years have passed, and I'm nowhere near as far as I thought I would or could be. But things are coming along, and she's going to be a little more independent, so that will free me up to do more in this area and other areas, making a bigger impact. But the impact I'm making now is helping her. So that's the plan. Merch, I don't have anything new to say about that. I didn't go to that place yet. I gotta, you know what? Let me write that on my hand because I didn't even think about it. Like I said, once April 1st happens, I'm gonna be getting off after they close. So if I get off a day this week before 5, let me go on down there and see what they have. All right. So what I did work on is "You Will Be Glorified," number 7. I got to, it's called Hope Village Church. There's not, I think I've come to the conclusion that there is no, it's kind of like you hear about church hopping, shopping for a church, all this kind of stuff. That's all fine, but you're really not going to go anywhere in any house of worship if you're not embedded, if you're not building relationships, if you're not a regular, I believe, at that, with that congregation, because that's what the lesson's been here. Because if I come in and tell them my idea, first of all, I mean, here's a church full of people, singers, musicians, nobody writes songs, nobody. I'll also say if I wanted to go all in on writing music, I would move to Nashville if that was a possibility. And I've only learned that over the past few years. That's where I need to place myself. But that's not something my wife's interested in. And that's fine, because I still think there's other ways to get there. But if I wanted to go all in right now, music, I'd move to Nashville. No question. So now it's just a longer, slower process. But that's fine. So it just check. I got that one done, and there's just not anything there, and that's fine. Because again, I'm hearing singing. So our church is getting back in the groove. So, and the person who helped me, he's actually moved on. But that's not a terrible thing, because I was seeing where the person helping me write the song and the person who performed the song were not on, well, yeah, they weren't exactly in sync. So no, it won't be as many hard feelings if we come back, because once the song's composed, it's going to be different than what the original performer performed. So I was hoping not to be in the middle of any hurt feelings. So I don't think that will happen now that the person who helped perform the song and arrange it, but not fully get into the sheet music, has moved on church-wise. There are other benefits, from my perspective, to that for our congregation as a whole. And that's all I'll say about that. So, so that's all. There's no movement there, but the effort was put into it, and so I'm fine with it. And it sounds like my daughter will be able to get voice lessons from, it's Yumi who's helping me write the song. So things are starting to move, and that's the other thing. I'd be so blessed if my daughter could be the one to sing this song. And I really don't see any reason why she can't. I was talking to my supervisor today who's moving on, and she as a supervisor at the post office, she said she didn't have a business building job, or she was playing music at casinos, making some good connections, and that all totally shut down when she became a supervisor. She started singing when she was 14 in the church, it turns out. I heard her song. I even subscribed to her channel. What can I promote for her? I'll have to come back to you. London Bridge Studios, where they recorded, which is Pearl Jam, she told me. And was it the bass player for Pearl Jam was backup singer on their song, I believe, something like that. Jeffrey Castle, was that his name? Anyway, her voice was nice. None of this, and she says she had James or something at last, that kind of stuff. But what I heard from her in that one song, she has others, I just need to research it, was there wasn't a lot of push. It's just the voice was naturally flowing. It had that kind of 80s sound in my mind, and I love that. Possibly, I don't know where she is in her walk with the Lord right now, but she's got a background, so that she's got those seeds planted, and I intend to reconnect with her. And her husband's and he writes songs, so we'll see what comes of that. But I didn't know any of this until I worked with her before the holidays. So what are we in March? So I've known her for a good 4 or 5 months. I knew nothing about her music. So what got me known? Yeah, she told me that she hasn't been able to do any music, and so she's doing great. What's the name of that group? It's not a lot of content on YouTube, so it's not a the world, but there's a lot. I mean, she's playing at casinos. I mean, that's some good credibility in my mind. And with Pearl Jam, that fellow from Pearl Jam, that's nice. So, and it's not like she's breaking in money, but it's obviously a lot further along than I've got. So, very humble, and who knows? It's just different genres, but I still want to. But she's got a heart of gold, beautiful spirit. That's what I love. She was the most positive supervisor I ever had up to this point at the post office. Intentionally positive, and that place needs it. All right. Song from Back to the Rhymes, nothing to say about that. And then School's album sale. I did bring that up to Kirk, who invited me to the church today, and he's got a CD player. I'll follow up with him. No pressure if he wants to get it. Because I forgot, I'm like, why didn't I tell him about that? I told her about SoundCloud, YouTube, gave her the business card, but school bus. How did I miss that? Opportunity to come up in the future, but yeah, I don't like to push it too hard. But I suspect he'd buy one. But I think I want to get to know him a little better at meetings. I liked his story and his vision for his future, so that was cool. All right. So, I mean, this subject is ongoing as I continue to engage people, and as far as I kind of talked about enough, but current events. Seattle's getting more cleaned up. I'll say that. This war stuff, I think I might have mentioned, but yeah, I don't have a lot to say about it. All I can say is that, well, the post office, we're still wearing masks of all things, and it's outrageous. Everyone else is not wearing them, or it's your choice, and we're the healthiest people. We were essential workers. We're there the whole time, and we're the ones wearing it. We can't get an answer. It's my understanding, don't say it too loud. Enumclaw saying, I don't care. No one's doing anything. So I don't know what, I think I could go about. I just feel like a bit like a criminal, though. I don't want to feel like a criminal. I'm not doing anything wrong. Why aren't we just free to choose? Especially at this point. Oh, but there's Omicron 2 coming. What is the war not working out? Why is Omicron 2 coming? I mean, it totally went out of the headlines. I mean, for the first time in 2 years, when you go onto the freeway, they had a sign that said, let's shelter in place, something to do with this. Usually they say how the traffic is. It's been for 2 years. There hasn't been a lot of traffic because you shut down the whole economy. It ended. They had a note saying spring forward and gone. The last sign said, let's fight COVID, get vaxxed, get boosted, and now it's gone. Surprised it doesn't say we stand with Ukraine. I mean, you could put that on the freeway, can't you? Anyway, I'll get back to the rhymes. I'm not saying that's no big deal. I'm saying I'm not fun business. It's good to know. I did watch Oliver Stone to learn a little history there. This stuff doesn't just happen out of nowhere. Okay, there's history behind it. I think about we were allies with Russia during World War II, and that ended, and then NATO was formed, and all this kind of stuff. So NATO versus the USSR, I suppose. One thing I was thinking, what's amazing is how in the world could Germany, small country, and little Japan and Italy, I guess, take on the whole rest of the world? I was thinking about that. I was like, how was that even possible? Little Germany running around taking over the whole, it's incredible. I mean, it has to have been studied. I mean, Russia, US, it took us a while to get involved, but if you were just to draw out on paper, you wouldn't think those two countries would have any shot in the world against those two large countries, plus all the allies and stuff. But anyway, I just think of that. I was like, wow. All right. So it goes like this. I just have to finesse it, second guess it. The second that I won't be able to expect it to move much. As such, I just have to finesse it, second guess it. The second that I won't be able to expect it to move much. As such, I just have to finesse it, second guess it. The second that I won't be able to expect it to move much. As such, I just have to finesse it, second guess it. The second that I won't be able to expect it to move much. As such, I contemplate, I wait to bait my next move. At the same time, I'll try and find a way to get a breakthrough. Will I be well received, or is he a bit peeved? Then I'm in your midst, and I don't seem to get the gist. I just thought I could trust that we were of one accord, but I guess we wasn't, just for the record. I just have to finesse it, second guess it. The second that I guess I won't be able to expect it to move much. As such, I just have to finesse it, second guess it. The second that I won't be able to expect it to move much. As such, I just have to finesse it, second guess it. Second that I won't be able to expect it to move much. As such, I just have to finesse it, second guess it. The second that I won't be able to expect it to move much. As such, I ask myself, am I too relaxed with the brethren? Did I try to take it where it should never have been? It appears to interfere with your sensibilities. And I knew what I was going to say at the time, and I really don't know what that was. I ran out of time, so I couldn't finish the rhyme. Okay. I asked myself, that was a couple minutes. So this song's I'm going to keep going on it because I could go probably 5 verses. I did that with Stay With You, 5 verses. And it worked. It wasn't that long of a song. There may be shorter verses, but let me see. It does get redundant when I do that. A hook 4 times like that. I don't usually do that, but it sinks in, and I noticed that it was with me after. It stayed with me after I did this show. So I asked myself, am I too relaxed with the brethren? Did I take this to where it never should have been? It appears to interfere with your sensibilities. See, am I totally changing up my rhyme scheme? It's fine. It appears to interfere with your sensibilities. And I was trying to write CO. Could not. Let's see. It appears to interfere with, and I could not get you thinking about the possibilities. But I really want I love the phrase. This is such a good phrase. A cheerful giver. Such a good phrase. God loves a cheerful giver. Okay, and that's when tithing and all this type of stuff. He wouldn't want someone like, okay, here's my money. Doesn't want that. But I would say the same goes for myself. We all would want that. If someone's going to give, you wouldn't want them to not want to give. So it's and like I say, I just thought I could trust we're of one accord. Now that doesn't mean we work together, but of course, I would hope for a cheerful spirit, encouragement. I'm not asking for it. It's just kind of so that's why I think these guys feel bum rushed a little bit, and I'm not trying for that, but I'm not going to go back to this church like I went to today. I'm not going back. So I'm basically I love them. My friends are there, but it doesn't work with where I'm at in life. But they will contact me because that's what these churches have been doing. They get your contact information. I think that's smart. Build relationships. So, but there's just not a path for me to be going there, and that's fine. I think it's good for me to go because until I went, I'd be wondering. So I'm not wondering anymore. It's all good. It's all good. Again, it's more this rock. I'm way more into meditative. I'd say easy listening, beautiful singing. That's more my style. I think there's, up tempo songs are actually for me harder to make. Maybe it's because I'm less into them oftentimes, and they don't usually come off as well. But they had a lot of high end. They had good people there, energy wise. It was pretty impressive. Good quality people who could. Because I think about the multiplying effect. That's why a church can grow is because you have a multiplying effect. Because you have energy, you have people sharing the gospel, and you have people when they invite someone, you feel an energy, and so that's what that congregation really has going for them. All right. It appears to interfere with your sensibilities. It could not get you thinking about the possibilities. But my role, the how I got a role is not in that role. The part I gotta play is not to think about the time slipping away. For God's time and then I go into the hook. I just have to finesse it, second guess it. So I will stop there and see you all next week. I'm going to keep writing this.